This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
Halftime Show, Pulse 95 Radio, live in the heart of Sharjah. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, the El Marai app, or if you're watching us live on YouTube. We do bring the best of the best on the Halftime Show, and it's what lifts the show and makes it what it is. The award-winning Halftime Show would not be anything without the fantastic guests that come on the show. And this next person is going to be conquering another challenge in her superhero world. Caroline Lewin will be here on the Halftime Show live on the radio, and I can't wait to share this episode because she has a challenge she's going to be taking up very, very soon. I think it's 20 minus 19 days left, but I'll let her tell you that because Everest seems to be her next opponent. And we are going to be asking her all the questions throughout the hour. So if you have anything, text us on 4215 or slide into my DMs at Omar Al Duri on Instagram and let me know, and we will be discussing that with her. It's going to be fantastic. She was so good, we had to bring her back. Caroline Lewin here on the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. The Halftime Show on Pulse 95 Radio every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 to 4 with the best of the best. Speaking of the best of the best, let's give her a round of applause. It's Caroline Lewin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, man. Okay, right. Okay, so you're about to embark on a remarkable journey. I have been a fly on the wall on this journey for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
Yeah. And before we tell the listeners about the journey, I want to ask you, how would you sum it up from when you started climbing, mountain summiting and doing these fantastic things in 2012? How has that journey been from that point to now?
Oh, it's been really long. But to be honest with you, like I had a little bit of an interim in the middle. Obviously, I had an accident. So I climbed Kilimanjaro for the first time in 2012. And then I had this crazy accident in 2015 where I broke my entire body. Then I spent 4 years living in a hospital bed in a wheelchair and in a commode and then crutches, then learning to walk. And then I just started climbing mountains, never with the idea that I was going to climb Everest 10 years later. At the beginning, it was like I just am trying to heal and trying to figure out my way in life and trying to do something that makes me feel alive and that's authentic to me. So it just really happened organically, and now here we are, and I'm climbing Everest.
That is crazy. Oh, it's been great to see, and the rise has been remarkable. You kind of said it in a very normal tone. Had the accident, broke my whole body, and then start climbing again. But I want to take you to that point. When you say, what kind of injuries are we talking when you say that you had that massive accident midway after Kilimanjaro in 2012? There was a 4-year kind of break. What happened to your body?
So I was on an outdoor rock climbing wall and I fell, it was about 7 to 12 meters, and I fell onto rock and gravel. And both my feet, my right foot came out of my body, so it was an open fracture. It was very messed up. And I shattered my right foot and my left foot. My right leg disconnected from my body. I broke my pelvis. I broke my pubic bone. And when I say broke, it was like shattering. And same thing with my spine. So I shattered a part of my spine. And then I ended up in hospital for 2 months. I had 14 surgeries, 23 blood transfusions, just to keep me alive. And look, the doctors here in the UAE were amazing. They obviously saved my life and put me back together like Humpty Dumpty. and then I left the hospital, and when I went back home, I found myself unable to walk in a wheelchair. I spent several years learning how to walk and kind of trying to put my life back together again. So it was tough.
Tough, and for those people that are going through an injury at the moment, or if they're told they can't do something or they won't be able to do something again, that message is so powerful through what you've just said now. Massively.
Yeah, it is really powerful. Look, I was told that I wasn't going to walk again, initially, and then once the doctors kind of reconstructed my pelvis and my spine, and they realized that my spine was in pretty good shape. Like I couldn't move my leg, but I could feel it, which was really positive. So once we got to that place, they were like, okay, you're going to be able to walk. It's going to take a long time. You're going to need a lot of rehab, but you will be able to walk, but you will be disabled. You'll have a limp forever, and you'll never be able to run, and you won't be able to do this. So I was given quite some scary facts. And yeah, the reality of that's really, it's very hard to hear and hard to digest. And yeah.
How do you counter that? Like, how do you talk to yourself when you hear that kind of information? Because I would assume that a lot of the time you spend a lot of time on your own, in your own thoughts. How do you speak to yourself at that point?
Oh, it's really hard. Interestingly, I had a conversation about this very thing with a friend of mine recently, and I was trying to explain that at the very beginning, the only thing that was in my head were those words. I'm never going to walk again. I can't do anything with my life. Who's going to love me? I'm covered in scars. Like, it's really very daunting. But after that, what I started to do is like, oh, I don't like my own words. I don't like my own thoughts. So I started to listen to other people's. So I was listening to Tony Robbins like on repeat, listening to Wayne Dyer, listening to like all these other really inspirational people who told their stories. Like even Nelson Mandela, I listened to his autobiography, and just having their words and their voice in my head helped me to kind of like tone down the voice in my head that was telling me I was never going to do anything. And interestingly, when I first started climbing a mountain, like the first 10 mountains I climbed, it felt like I had this battle that was going on in my head. Like, what are you doing here? Who do you think you are? You're never going to do this. Get off this mountain. Just get the donkey down. Like, you're never going to do anything. That voice versus this quiet silence that was just like, oh, I'm going to keep going. And so it was this real like fight that I was having. And eventually what happened is that every mountain I'd climb, the voice would get a little bit quieter and quieter and quieter until eventually I climbed a mountain and there was silence. And I was like, oh, now I can hear myself speak, which is just like complete quiet silence. And then I started to be able to hear my own voice. And my own voice was just really quiet and was just like, we're just going to keep going. And I would just keep going. And then mountaineering became like this walking meditation where I was in complete silence in nature and just surrounded by so much beauty, and where I could hear myself speak. And it's such a beautiful disengagement from this crazy social media world that we live in, especially here in the UAE. It's so busy and there's so much going on. Yeah.
Love that. And before we go to the break, name some of the mountains that you've climbed so far.
Oh my God. I've climbed Mount Everest, Mount Damavand, Peak Lennon, Mount Meru, Kilimanjaro. Like I can go on and on. Denali, Mirror Peak, Island Peak, Le Boucher. On and on and on.
just to name a few. I mean, she was talking about them like the ice cream flavors. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're talking about that word, Everest.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
Love this song. Halftime Show, Pulse 95 Radio, live in the Half Sharjah. Boy, that was a first segment and a half, even though it was only one segment, but it was amazing. Karen Lewin is here in the studio, and we are so excited to have her here. I'm telling you, it was amazing. There you go. See, and we brought her back because it was fantastic, and she was telling us about her journey and what she had to endure. Is such a light word when you put it like that, but endure in reaching this point. But coming up to this point, we're full of light, and Everest is around the corner.
Yeah, it's so close. 20 days away.
20 days away.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. For those that don't know, please tell them how long it takes to go up versus how long it takes to come down. This is amazing.
It takes 6 weeks to go up and 3 days to come down.
Wow. 6 weeks to go up and 3 days to come down. How, this is such a loaded question. How do you prepare for this?
Oh my God, I feel like I've been preparing for this my whole life.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of training. There's a lot of, I think I've climbed a lot of mountains in the lead up to this that I really understand like what the space feels like. And yeah, a lot of mountains. I've climbed 40 mountains, 2 base camps. So, and a lot of gear, a lot of buying gear, a lot of like downloading really good music, downloading really good audio books.
I see how she is with the music, by the way. We train at the same spot. Shout out to Unit. And when the good song comes on, I'm just giving you the hint that there should be more of those good songs coming on, her face changes. It changes as soon as that track comes on. She start lifting a mountain after that.
Yeah.
It hasn't all been rosy though, right? And this is something I think people need to hear more of, because when we see your content, which by the way you guys have to follow if you don't follow already, what I like about your content is you're genuinely telling the reality of the story and not just what everyone thinks is going to happen. Recently you had a bit of a, I don't even want to say setback, it's a little tweak.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that safe to say, a little tweak?
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Yeah? What happened?
Oh, normally I come down off a mountain in pretty bad shape.
Right.
Like my body's like, oh.
Yeah.
So previously I'd broken my foot on Peak Lennon, and when I came back recently off Aconcagua and Chimborazo, I'd torn the meniscus in my left knee. And yeah, I've kind of been training around that. Like you've seen me at the gym trying to get up off the floor because I can't bend my knee properly. Look, I'm laughing, but it's not not really that funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, she spends more time laughing at me than she does at herself. I'll tell you that now in the gym. But yeah, no, I have seen it. I've seen it, and for those that haven't seen it, so we'll be set up, we'll be training, and obviously people talk about the lifts and the good stuff, the fun stuff, right? The attractive stuff to see when people are training in the gym. But the other side is more along the lines of, things that do come up realistically, like things that do come up in our pathways. And I see you doing the exercise if it's on the ground, and then almost then picking yourself up in a way where people are like, should she be here? Because you look fine doing the exercise, and then when you have to get up, then there's the reality of, no, I'm still nursing this minor issue, and I'm going to do this. For those people that then again maybe procrastinate behind the scenes, or even when they're listening to you now, and then they'll say, oh, well, I don't know if I should be in there. And there's you there in the gym, right, doing the exercise on the ground, then supersetting it with something else on your feet. But then that mid-transition, I think that sums you up so well, because nothing's going to stop you from getting there. And I think that's what I see, which a lot of people don't see, being a fly in the wall when you're not making fun of me at the gym.
Which happens a lot.
Yes, exactly. Now, tell us, this is something that I want to see. How have you fueled for Everest? Because this is another thing people kind of overlook. They look at the whole thing and go, that looks amazing. But how have you been fueling for it?
You mean like eating food, or in my mind?
Both. That's a very, very good point. Both.
Fueling, like eating food, I'm really quite generous, and I just eat what I want. I really don't restrict myself a lot. The only problem is that I'm exercising so much, so it has like this downturn. I'm trying not to lose weight, but it's happening anyway. Right.
Is that muscle? Are you worried about losing muscle in the sense of losing weight?
Yeah, because look, when you're climbing an 8,000 meter mountain, the more extra stuff you have, the more insulation you have, and then you have more room to lose weight up on the mountain rather than losing weight before. So there's that. But yeah, I pretty much just eat when I'm hungry, and I just eat what I like. I don't really eat a lot of junk food, but I do I try and eat breakfast is 3 eggs and toast, and then I love butter, a lot of butter. So I'm eating really healthy food, but there's quite a lot of it. But yeah, unfortunately, when you're exercising 4 hours a day, it's it just goes quick.
I mean, when you said you were eating a lot of things, I was thinking, God, is not going to be, there's going to be much more. And you went 3 eggs. I was like, that's my snack.
No. But like, I'm just talking about one meal.
Yes, no, absolutely.
So then I've got this like honey yogurt that I love, and I put so much protein powder into it that it turns into like paste.
Right.
And so there's other things like that. But yeah.
Okay.
And then fueling my mind, like we were having this conversation outside.
Yeah.
Like I really just try and keep my life very chilled. I take my dog for a walk. I listen to good things. I try and listen to I love memoirs. I listen to memoirs a lot.
Amazing.
About other amazing people with like issues and things that happen in their life. Like I was telling you about the book The Sun Doesn't Shine.
Yes.
Oh my God, best book ever.
Okay.
So just really good things like that. Just stay really grounded, try and be really chilled.
Yeah. Love that. Well, we're going to keep you chilled here in the halftime show on Pulse 95 Radio. We'll be right back after this.
This is the halftime show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
Halftime show, good vibes here on Pulse 95 Radio with Karen Lewin, who is here in the studio talking about everything: Everest, mountains, summiting, mental, physical, fuel, food, 3 eggs in the morning. So much going on here. Before the news, actually, I wanted to ask you, have you ever, and I'm sure you normally have a lot of tracking of what you're doing, when you are climbing mountains, exactly, what kind of calories are we talking in terms of, do you know, like in terms of burning or...
Oh, how much you're eating or how much you're consuming?
Consuming.
Oh, like... sometimes I have my phone, like my watch on, and it's like 2,000 to 3,000 in just like a hike.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's mad.
It's a lot. But then, like I've got my summit snack, so I eat like baby food. I just squeeze it into my body.
Is that real? Like,
yeah, it's great. Baby food's amazing because you don't have to chew it. You just like swallow. And then Jelly Bellies. It's really bad. I eat.
Hold on 1 second. The superhero eats baby food and jelly bellies. That is hilarious.
Because it's sugar. Like at those altitudes, it's really hard for your body to process protein and fat.
Yeah.
So you literally need sugar. And jelly bellies are really
jelly
tasty.
Bellies. Oh my God. Okay, so what kind of flavors? Or do you not even taste it?
Oh, I get the sour Jelly Bellies, and then sometimes like the popcorn, like
the baby food.
Yeah. Oh, the baby food. Sorry, the baby food's normally like apple and pear, so I get some kind of fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, and then in those altitudes it stays cold.
Yeah.
And then on summit nights I hide it in every pocket.
Right.
So I have one here, on the outside, on the inside, every pocket. And then
I
I
just
just
on
like
the YouTube. She's like here, here.
squeezing it into my mouth. Yeah.
Right.
And
wow.
then you just get like instant like sugar. It's
great. Okay. Awesome. I mean, that is something that I've never ever thought about because I obviously don't do all that great stuff you're doing.
Well, it's like the goo gels, except I don't like the texture of goo gels.
Honestly, they're off.
Yeah, so I think like baby food's better.
They definitely won't be sending me any of those, that's for sure, because I said it on radio, those are off. I think I don't even do half or a quarter of what you've done, and whenever I had to do something that requires a bit of endurance, there's no way I'm touching those gels. That's why I asked you about the baby food, because I wasn't sure. At that point, you're not really thinking too much about food. You're just thinking about fuel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And then you were also talking about what you do for your mind when you're in these situations, and I think that's something else I think is super key, because fueling the mind is something that's always talked about but overlooked most of the time. And you're very careful with what sort of habits you allow into your trail. What are the things you do more of, and what are the things you do less of?
So normally before an expedition, the stuff that I do less of is, look, aside from Everest, normally I get off social media quite a lot.
Right.
And I really insulate myself. I normally don't tell people what I'm doing beforehand. This is an exception.
Thank you.
So I do it first.
Right.
And then I talk about it once I get back.
Okay.
So definitely social media. I also I try and spend a lot of time in nature. These are the things that I do. So I love taking my dog for a walk around Dubai Hills Park, and I try and spend some time in the sun. I go into Shalka in the mountains because it's so beautiful there. That place is magic. And just be really chilled and really grounded, and try and get my head into a good space where I'm just focused and I feel really calm and I'm not anxious, and
wow. Okay, right. That's got me calm now. You know what? Just because of that, I want to play you a track. Do you know the artist called Shaka? Okay, so this is one of my favorite tracks. It's called Sunshine Over Stress, and it's by Shaka. You're going to enjoy this one.
This is the halftime show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
Halftime show just has a different vibe to it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so gutted it's almost full time here on the halftime show, but we've had the fantastic guest, Caroline Lewin, who's been here telling us all about what she's looking to conquer very, very soon. Something that I think is massive whenever anyone does tackle a challenge is support. And I think what I want to hear from you is what kind of support have you got? I know what support you get from the gym at Unit with ourselves, but what kind of other support do you get?
Look, I have to say that none of this would be possible without like DHL and my DHL family. Like, it's really rare to see huge companies sponsoring female athletes.
Yeah.
This really well, that it's sponsorship for women and women in sports is like few and far between.
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful that I have this amazing opportunity to do what I love and have like DHL like help me kind of live out my dreams. I'm super grateful for that.
Amazing. And you deserve it. You deserve it for sure. Now, we got 20 days left.
Yeah.
How are you going to spend the next 20 days?
Oh, like training?
Yeah.
Training, eating, sleeping, and like getting myself ready and organized. Like I can feel myself getting nervous already when I start to really think about it. But yeah, I'm really excited. This is going to be like the culmination